Lindsay Baumgren of Nourish Move Love, and today we're coming at you with 5 beginner Pilates ab exercises for diastasis recti postpartum. So I'm about 8 weeks postpartum, and I am joined today by my pelvic floor physical therapist, Sari, and she is going to help walk us through these exercises just like you were in session with her, which is really cool and exciting because she's going to help provide those cues that she gave me to help start these exercises. So these are beginner exercises. I started doing them around 2 weeks postpartum, and Sari will talk about how you know when you're ready to start them personally for you. It varies for everybody. We'll jump into that as we get started. Let's go ahead, hit the mat, and jump into these exercises. All right, so we're gonna come down to position, and before we start, I should say, I have a Pilates sponge ball. You can get this on Amazon for like under 10 bucks. We'll link it in the video description below. If you don't have one of these Pilates balls, you could use a kid's toy squishy ball. I know my kids have one just like it, or even a throw pillow, okay? So I'm gonna place this ball between my knees, and then I'm gonna place my hands on my abs. And so I'm gonna inhale, belly's gonna expand, and then exhale, I'm gonna squeeze the ball between my knees as I think about contracting my abs, okay? So we're gonna do some good core breathing to start with, which I know is really exciting, but also really important for us, okay? So that's where we're gonna start. We're gonna do it for 40 seconds, and you'll get 2 stabs at it, okay? So let's go ahead and start here. Ball between your knees, big inhale, belly's gonna expand. Exhale, I'm thinking about squeezing the ball as I squeeze my core together by thinking about shoelaces wrapping around a shoe. Inhale, it's gonna expand. Exhale. And Sari's going to talk us through the lengthening and the contracting of this.
Yeah, so when Lindsay breathes in, you'll watch her abdomen expand. I'm looking for her rib cage expanding out to the side. And then I also want her to feel her pelvic floor muscles dropping down toward her feet away from her body. And then on the exhale, belly draws in, pelvic floor lifts up.
And you'll see my legs are shaking during this, and that's normal.
That's great.
It doesn't mean I have to regress, like that's okay.
No, your legs probably haven't done this in a while.
Right? It means everything is working.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a quick breather, about 20 seconds rest, and we're gonna do that again. So you get a chance to do that same exercise again and continue to think about those cues that Sari was giving about the lengthening and the contracting. Also, the closer my knees are to my chest, the easier it's gonna be. The farther they are from my chest, the harder it's gonna be. So I'm gonna start somewhere in between, and we'll go in 3, 2, here we go, big inhale. Exhale, squeeze. I love the Pilates ball because it helps me really make that mind-muscle connection about, I have to think about lengthening. I have to think about it.
Yeah, and when you're lengthening, you'll see how Lindsay will take a little tension off that ball too. It's gonna be hard to lengthen if you're really squeezing the ball at the same time.
That's a really good point. Yeah, we always think about contracting, like that's the #1 thing we're taught in postpartum.
Yeah.
But it's also really important to learn how to lengthen those muscles and take them through their full range of motion. Nice, got about 10 more seconds here in this second set. Maybe you can try and move those knees a little bit farther from your body.
We talk about our bicep muscle, and if we're always contracting with a short muscle from here to here, here to here, here to here, it's gonna fatigue super fast. The same thing with our pelvic floor. We want that full length in order to fully contract.
Love that, love the bicep analogy. That really helps me think through it. Okay, we're gonna progress on to exercise number 2. I'm gonna stay right here, legs are bent at 90 degrees, and just my arms are gonna drop into what we'd call like the dead bug, but just my arms. So big inhale, belly expands. Exhale, squeeze the ball tight. Drop one arm towards the ground and bring it back up. Now I'm gonna inhale. Exhale, squeeze the ball and drop my opposing arm. And I know these moves can seem really slow and controlled, but sometimes slower is harder. If you're a person who likes to go all out, you're thinking, let's go fast, let's go hard. I know these aren't the most exciting exercises, but they're so important, right?
Yeah, you're just reconnecting with your base and your foundation again after 9 months.
That's so true. That's why we've created beginner to advanced. So this is our beginner version. We're gonna show you how you can scale all these moves up in the advanced version. We're gonna do one more here. Nice, and you can rest. I like to put my legs back down because I'm really feeling that pressure. As I hold my legs up, it's a lot harder, right? And now we're gonna jump right back into that exercise, okay? So you got about 10 seconds. If someone's saying I'm feeling this in my back or even my hip flexors, what would you cue differently? So I'm gonna bring those legs up, and we're gonna go in 3, 2, big inhale. Exhale.
Good. Yeah, so I talk about tension to task. Sometimes people are just creating 100% maximal tension, really strong brace, and so they're gonna feel their paraspinals or back muscles kicking in. So I'll tell them to back off a little bit, maybe breathe quieter, maybe think about blowing through like a juice straw versus maximally through a thicker straw. Sometimes that will just change the amount of tension they're feeling in the back.
And I love what you've taught me is that it's not always about regressing the exercise. We think, that's too much, I can't do it. It's just about changing that cueing, because cueing hits differently. I was thinking about blowing through a straw, like an average size straw, and then you said juice box straw, and I'm like, oh, that instantly helps me.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Okay, so that's that move, and now we're gonna progress up and take the ball to my hands this time. same thing, except I'm gonna do alternating heel drops this time, or you could actually even go to a full kick out, okay? So dead bug style, we'll start with the heel drops, we'll progress. So big inhale, belly expands. Exhale. Now I'm gonna squeeze the ball with my hands. I'm gonna drop one heel to the ground, return. Inhale, exhale, and then I'm gonna drop the other heel. If you're like, I've totally got this, inhale, progress a little bit more to that dead bug with a straight leg kick out.
Nice. Yeah, sometimes it's just about changing your strategy, either your breathing strategy, your muscle recruitment strategy, your posture, and that can really change how the movement feels in your body.
Yes, I love that just little change, because a lot of times people are like, how do I know I'm ready? When am I ready to do this? When am I ready to progress?
Yeah,
we'll talk
that's
about
so
that,
hard.
right? In 3, 2, recover. So, I mean, it's different for everybody, right?
Totally.
And that's why I saw a pelvic floor physical therapist, because it's so individualized based on how much activity I was doing before I was pregnant, during pregnancy, and then my birth. Like, it was vaginal, it was normal, how long I pushed for.
Exactly.
All those things come into play. So we'll go ahead and set up here and get your second stab at it. You can take those knees farther if you want to make it harder. Big inhale. Exhale, squeeze up all your hands to help think about that contraction, and then extend. You can either heel tap it or kick it straight out.
And you're probably doing a lot more with your core than you already think. You know, you're lifting your baby, you're bringing a carrier, you're twisting, you're dropping the baby in the crib. So that's basically a standing sit-up. Or standing trunk flexion. So people come in and they're super fearful about doing exercise, and then when we break it down, your core is working all day anyway.
Yes, I started these beginner exercises about 2 weeks, and I did have a fairly normal and everything, and I stayed strong throughout pregnancy, but I mean, it definitely takes time, and so you have to progress slowly. Nice. And we're gonna do that again. Is that our first time doing that? Remind me. My brain, I'm still at 8 weeks postpartum. I'm still on that sleep deprivation. That was our first time, right? Okay, we're gonna do it again. So you get a second stab at it with the hands this time and just the legs moving, right? I mean, total transparency. This is where I'm at.
I mean, I was gonna talk about sleep too, because sleep deprivation, really, we have so much evidence and information to show that less than 6 or 7 hours of sleep, you're at higher risk of injury. So just taking that slow, knowing your body, super important.
When you shared that with me, I was like, oh man, that hits home, because we all just want to, I mean, if you're an athlete and you were working out prior to pregnancy, you just want to jump right back in, right? You're like, I want to start running again. I want to start doing all these things again. But you have to remember, it just takes time. And what's the phrase you say? Just because it's not the season, or what'd you say?
Yeah,
it's not forever.
Not forever, just for now.
Not forever, just for now. So saying I can't do this, it's not forever, it's just for now. And it's not necessarily I can't do it, it's just I have to try and do it differently. Right?
Exactly.
All right, nice. That was our second time through that exercise. So now we're moving on to our fourth exercise. I'm gonna put that ball back between my knees, and I'm gonna go squeezing the ball 90-90 leg lower. So we're gonna hit more of these obliques right here. So my arms are gonna be at my sides. They could even go a little bit more to the side, and I'm just gonna drop one knee to the mat, come back to center, and drop the other knee. So we'll do that for about 40 seconds in 3, 2, big inhale. Exhale, create that tension, squeeze that ball. And then I'm gonna lower side, center, side, center. And why is training the obliques also so important?
Yeah, so the obliques are stabilizers of your core. We want to train all of the core muscles. We used to talk about just training our transverse abdominis, but really that muscle works with our whole core system, and we had changes to our whole core system during pregnancy. So working the core in a variety of ways is what I always tell people.
Love that. We're trying to create a variety of ways here right now, and squeezing that ball helps me keep that tension. So when I come back up to top, it helps me really re-engage my core, because as I work through a move, especially for 40 seconds, it's really easy to get lazy and just kind of like let my muscles slowly disengage. We'll take a break, and we're gonna do that same thing again. And so having that ball just helps me keep my muscles engaged when I need to. That's why I love the Pilates ball. All right, we're gonna bring those legs back up to 90 degrees. And we're gonna go through that same thing again, side to side. Right here, I'm gonna squeeze the ball. If you wanted, you can even try and straighten those legs a little bit. The longer the lever, the harder it's gonna be, right? So that means the longer, so our core is designed to stabilize our body, right? As our limbs move away from our body. And so the longer my arm, my leg extends away from my body, the harder my core, my trunk has to work to stabilize.
And our obliques are our big twisting muscles. So as a mom, you're doing a ton of twisting with your carrier, right? You're twisting, you're putting the carrier in the car, you're doing all the things with your obliques. So
I know when they tell you, they're like, go home and rest and recover. And then, by the way, come back to the doctor and bring your carrier and your diaper bag and your 3 other children. Go for 3.
Don't lift too much.
2, and 1. Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why it's so important to tell people, like, it is okay to start training your core again, right? Awesome job. Okay. So, wait, did we do that 1 or 2 times? That was our second time.
That was our second time.
Sleep deprivation is real. Okay, you guys, we're going to put the ball between the legs. Heels are close to my glutes. And I'm going to do a glute bridge with a ball squeeze. That's where we go in 3, 2. So I'm going to lift and squeeze. I'm going to squeeze and hold for 3, 2, 1. And then I'm just going to let my glutes hover, not actually come to rest. And then go right back in and squeeze for 3, 2, 1. Come back down. The closer my heels are to my glutes, the more I'm going to feel those glutes. So a lot of people say, I don't feel my glutes activated in a glute bridge. And that's because your heels might be too far away. They may be activating more of the hamstring back here. We want the glutes and our inner thighs. Glutes and inner thighs, why are they so important for our pelvic floor?
Yeah, they work together. Our pelvic floor works as a whole system, not in isolation. So getting those more global muscles firing up is important so that pelvic floor doesn't take all the load.
Yes, and they're going to stabilize our pelvic floor. So like you said, if I want to get back to doing those unilateral movements or things like running, glutes, inner thighs, so important for helping stabilize. Nice. We'll take a rest, and we're just going to jump back in and do that same thing. And this time I'm going to hold for 5 seconds at the top. So we're just going to increase that time under tension and that muscular endurance. So let's go ahead and lift, squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hover, and take it right back up. Again, you're going to see my legs shaking, my inner thighs shaking. These muscles are still building that muscular endurance, which is why we just play with that time under tension, right? So you can start with 3 seconds, you can scale up to 5 seconds, then you can scale up to 10 seconds. It's just that scaling. I think you told me this about pelvic floor dysfunction. Which could be where I have leakage or things happening like that, but it doesn't necessarily happen it happens with the volume, right?
Yeah, with running, there was a study that showed pelvic floor dysfunction is more correlated with running volume than with actual weakness or muscle dysfunction. So progressively challenging that volume is important.
Yes, so I'm just gonna take a rest, yes. So it doesn't necessarily mean that like my muscles are weak and they can't do it. It just means they need to build up. It's just like anything, right?
Exactly.
Like, if I wanna do a back squat with 300 pounds, I have to start somewhere and build up to that load.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go right back in. Last glute bridge, here we go. We're gonna lift and hold this time, and we're gonna squeeze. We're gonna go for 5. Wait, is this our second time doing this? Did we do this twice? I did 3 seconds.
This is our second time.
This is our second time.
So
I
don't even have an excuse to make my second.
I swear, I tell people there's a reason that sleep deprivation is used as a torture method. And we're doing this at 8 weeks postpartum because I want it to be relatable to you guys. Like, I didn't want to show up here with, abs that are conditioned and body that's conditioned. I wanted to be in this with you. Like, I'm 8 weeks postpartum. You're probably somewhere around the same, doing this together. Like, I want us to feel like we're in it together. Like, holding this ball squeeze right now is really challenging for me. My legs are shaking, and we're gonna hold it for 3, 2, and 1. Nice. And we're gonna rest and recover. And those are our 5 beginner ab exercises with a Pilates sponge ball that are so great for diastasis recti. And thanks so much for joining us, Sari. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you did, we'd love if you dropped a subscribe to our channel. And of course, you can find this entire free Diastasis Recti recovery program at nourishmovelove.com. Have a great day. Thanks so much for joining me for that core recovery workout. If you enjoyed it, I'd be so grateful if you dropped a subscribe to my YouTube channel right here. And if you want to access this entire free Diastasis Recti recovery program, you can find the whole program right here. Have a great day.